and probably got it or whatever. But
at that point, you're already like, at least in your family, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
hopefully Drip God Hector.
As you can see, you know, the camera is only focused on my face today.
Yeah.
First episode of 2020 because 2021. All right.
We're past 2021.
I still want to go back.
2021 hasn't started that much better. We've had a lot of shit going on this week. But yeah, we're in 2021, just in case you forgot.
But yeah, like, yeah, the camera's focused on just my face today because our drip god is listed day to day.
Yeah.
He's
got a 7 to 14 day absence. The protocol, you know, he hit the COVID protocol. Well, he says he's got a flu, but
yeah, but we're taking all the precautions, of course. And obviously, we hope our man is straight and good to join us back on the pod next week
or 2 weeks after.
2 weeks, whatever the situation
take your time,
is.
heal up.
Yeah, but we're gonna be here enjoying this wine.
Yeah, what are we drinking on?
Today we got Liberty School, which is a Cab Sauv from, what is it, California?
Sounds like a California wine. Liberty School?
Yeah, California. Honestly, I only picked it up because it said, made by those and for those that carve their own path.
That's us. Entrepreneurs, baby.
That's a bottom line thing. So we're sipping on that today.
Cheers. It's going to be a lot harder without Hector in the middle, but Joe?
Cheers to 2021. Cheers to you guys as well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a glass of wine too. But we're going to jump into it today. We got a few topics that we want to talk to you guys about. But just like any episode, you know, we're here to learn, grow, and connect with our homies.
One last one this week, but
one less homie this week, but we're still learning and growing.
He hasn't died.
He'll be back here. He'll be back here for sure.
Yeah.
We should have poured up a glass for him, but it's all good. But yeah, back to the affairs. Here at the bottom line, we learn, go, and connect every week, every episode with great content about business, sports, culture, fashion, art, whatever we want to talk about. We talk about it on here, but we try to relate it back to business. With that being said, I would like to encourage everyone to check us out on Instagram at The Bottom Line Pod. Check us out on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, YouTube, at The Bottom Line Podcast. We have a bunch of episodes and content already posted up on there, so make sure you check us out. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. We like the good and the bad here.
Yep.
What else do I gotta intro up?
Yeah, Hector's got this on pat now. Like,
but we were making fun of him the first time he was trying to do it. Like,
but now you see how hard it is. He's worked in his own now. Yeah. So what are we gonna talk about this week? We're gonna talk about low end for a bit.
Yeah, we'll catch up on some low end affairs. Mm-hmm. We've been gone for like 2-3 weeks, so we haven't seen each other for 2-3 weeks. So we'll catch up on that. Yeah.
What we've been doing over Christmas, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it in a lockdown last time we were here?
Were we? Or were we? No, we were in Gray.
Where we were.
Oh, yeah, it was the next day. Yeah, it was the next day, yeah. Yeah, it was a Sunday. Remember, we were like, we have to have this one today or else tomorrow we can't get together.
Damn, really?
Yeah, because we were in Gray at one point, and then
I remember the Gray area.
We went to Red.
No, other way around.
Okay, well, we were in Red, and then we went that's weird.
No. We were in Gray, went to Red.
No, Red went to Gray. Because we were just like orange and yellow and shit. Like, it leads up
was orange worse than yellow? Was orange worse than yellow?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're going like color gradient. Okay. Before we did numbers, when this first 2 weeks of lockdown, that we needed everybody needs to sit down at home for 2 weeks so we can make sure the medical system's good. That anniversary is coming up, like that 1 year anniversary is coming up in a couple weeks now. So yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks, man. Like
it's been a long 2 weeks, yeah. Honestly. A lot of shit been happening. Like even just I was talking to Joe earlier. Like even just this last week's been crazy. So
like 3 or 4 days. Even.
The drama's unfolded in the States, man.
Bro, we're just like, oh my god. But yeah, we'll definitely jump into that too later on in the episode. We'll also talk about some mergers and acquisitions in the business world and fashion world. Mm-hmm. with LVMH buying Tiffany & Co.
Yep.
Tiffany Co. And then we're also talking about some new business frontiers and new trends. I know we used that word in one of the other episodes, but there's some new trends out there, some stuff happening in the business world again that we're going to cover at the end of the episode as well. So stay tuned, and let's get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
So what do you want to talk about first? How was your Christmas?
It was good, man.
Yeah, what'd you get up to?
Honestly, I was chilling. So now that you guys say that we recorded that one podcast before the shutdown, we had like a week and a half before Christmas.
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So it was almost 2 full weeks. But we were at the shop for those few weeks, just getting stuff in order, working on a few things. We released these green hoodies.
Fire.
We released
Yo,
those.
move it a bit more because you're half in the mic. There you go.
We released these forest green low end legacy hoodies. I think it honestly was like the week after the shutdown. We wanted to our plan wasn't to release them as soon as we did, but again, COVID just kind of accelerated a bunch of stuff for us last year, including releasing these hoodies. So we had to do it a bit in a hurry, which in hindsight I do regret it a little bit, but again, like
everything looked good to me, man. Like the line, the photos, like the way you guys presented it. You guys had a whole shoot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we had exactly. Like we shut down that one Sunday, and then the next Monday, I think we kind of got the guys together, and Hector did his thing. We did a little photo shoot with the hoodies. This one and the silver gray colorway that we dropped. So definitely on that end, I was definitely pleased. I think Hector did a great job with the pictures.
Yeah. So what would you have wanted to change then?
Honestly, just having a little bit more time to release content, marketing content, and build up, in a way, a marketing strategy.
Like build up more hype for the sweater?
Build up more hype for the sweaters. Because honestly, when I went into it and we made the 2 new colors, I was like, all right, yeah, like I'm cool with releasing these a bit more sooner or quicker, just because we did most of the marketing the first time we released them.
Right.
But when I'm looking back and I'm thinking, I'm like, we did do a lot of marketing the first time around, but I still feel like that shouldn't take away from like the next time you try to push out a product. I felt like if we had not as much time as the first time, but something more planned out and thought through, that I think it would have hit a bit better. Because I like these. A lot of people like the color, especially the forest green one.
Yep.
I think it's probably the favorite color out of the 4 that we released.
Really?
The gray, the black, the green, and the silver gray. But I feel like the fact that we released it a second time, people already got their gray ones or their black ones. So at this point, it's not like I don't want to get another colorway, but I already have like the low end legacy piece. So, but I feel like we could have gone through to those people had we created more stories and marketing behind the product.
You never know till next time. Like
Yeah.
you live and you learn, right? So next time you do a new launch, maybe those things will be true, but maybe you hit it right on the head. The people that were going to grab something maybe fell more in love with the black one or the silver one you guys released first, or they had one of those friends and family ones that you guys released before those two. So the one Joe is wearing right now, actually. So a lot of I've seen a lot of the sweaters around the city. Like I've got my own. I've got the black one. I know J-Bo just picked up the green one.
Yep.
The silver one looks great. They're all really good, but if you didn't release them before Christmas, though, do you think you would have made as many sales?
Initially, we were planning for Boxing Day, which the 26th. But we thought let's push it up a week so people can buy it. Hopefully, get it in for Christmas, if they're getting it as a gift. Because we were talking to customers, and a lot of them were talking to us and saying, "Oh, I want to get one as a gift for my friend or this, that. So we figured let's release it a week prior,
Mhm.
get them all out to the people that buy them on that release day so they can have it for Christmas. So that was kind of the thinking behind that. Initially, we wanted to do Boxing Day, but even that, in hindsight, might have been rushed. But we did want to do it for the holidays, though. So if we didn't do it like those 2 times, then it would have like been.
No, because I think that's a great color for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a very Christmassy color, you know, like,
Mhm.
and I think that'd be a great gift to give, especially for people like me that buy their gifts the last week and a half.
Yeah,
Like, I know what I want to get. I know what I want to get for the people close to me who I'm buying gifts for, but
Yeah.
I don't one, have the time or make the time till that last week and a half before
Yeah,
Christmas.
man.
So I think releasing it around there helps a lot of those people that are kind of like me out with a last minute gift.
Mhm.
Especially because as a last minute gift, you don't usually get a unique piece. You don't get this just came out. You know?
need something like
it was good
quick.
that you waited till it was good that you waited till the last week before Christmas to buy a gift. You know, like that usually doesn't happen. So,
yeah, but I feel like we're like. Do you think everyone shops like that for Christmas? We're the minority?
No, I'm definitely the minority.
Because I shop like that.
Oh,
too.
you shop like that too?
I don't know about that.
You shop like that?
Minority, but I'd say it's pretty even, honestly.
You think so? I feel like we're select.
Yeah,
not a
I don't know,
select
man.
few,
I know a
but-
lot of people that get their gifts in like April, early in the year. Like they'll buy stuff crazy.
I heard September one
Yeah.
time, and I'm like, like
You're really prepared. Like, but
I'm not
how do
even
you-
thinking about
Yeah,
Christmas.
how do you
in
get
September.
something for somebody in the middle of the year? Things change. Things like
100%.
things happen.
Yeah, they have like birthdays
Yeah.
and shit potentially after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless you're getting like socks or you're getting like something like that's a winter thing in the spring and it's going to be a good deal and you know this person.
I
don't know.
only start thinking about Christmas right after Halloween.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
November 1st is when I start thinking about Christmas, and even then, it's like I'm thinking about it.
But I'm not
And
taking
I'm
action.
enjoying the Christmas carols at the superstore and everything like that when I'm going to the mall, but I'm not thinking about getting anyone gifts until like
2 weeks before.
For real.
Yeah. No. I
man.
think there was a stat like 2 days before Christmas is like the busiest shopping day in the world.
I mean, that would contradict our
Maybe
our
we're not.
argument.
Maybe we're not in
Yeah,
the
maybe-
minority.
But I just feel like people just go to the mall on Christmas just to
Fuck around.
just
Maybe not with COVID this year, but
still with COVID, they were down.
yeah,
I heard the mall was packed.
it's crazy. I'm sure
I heard
it
it
was,
was
man. People
packed.
just do not care. I don't know. Like before, until I had a buddy get it, like I'm like, oh, it's not a real thing. Remember we were talking about this, and then I'm like, as soon as I have one of my close friends get it, that's when I'm gonna believe it.
Yeah,
It's happened.
yeah.
I'm now a believer.
Hey, that's
Not you can skip me with that, but
that's what we were talking about on like a few episodes ago when we first went into that first like semi lockdown, whatever it was, and we were comparing the first lockdown and the second one, and we were saying how the second one's gonna be a lot more different because we're gonna see a lot more people that we actually know and talk to and see actually get sick. And just like you said, you have a friend that caught it. I know a few people that
actually it's all of it.
all of our friends,
T-Digs.
people that we know
Yeah.
exactly that have it. So it definitely hits different now. So
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's you realize how small the world is, you know.
Facts.
But I saw a stat too that was like Toronto, Windsor, and like 2 other places have like worse
Windsor has the worst, like
with
all
ratio.
the data crunched. I couldn't say it right now, like, so I'm not gonna say it at all. Like, but with all the data crunched, Windsor has the worst like rate of getting cases per population like basis.
Yeah, I heard our numbers were worse in some places in the States, like Florida.
crazy.
Winsor's fucked right now. We're
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah.
Did not like that was something that just went straight over my head. I'm like, we have 300,000 people here.
Yeah.
Like,
And again, like the first shutdown, I don't know if I'm not basing this total, but I'm pretty sure we were one of the better areas in terms of like the
First shutdown, we didn't have nearly as many cases as we did when we were like even in the summertime.
Yeah.
Like,
if you excluded the farms, yeah. If you
Yeah.
exclude the farms from our numbers, like a lot of the stuff that happens in
Leamington.
Leamington, Amherstburg, like out there,
Mhm.
I think we're doing pretty well. But once you factor those numbers in, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like,
Well,
and it's such a small well, not a small population, it's 300,000, but when one person gets it in Leamington, brings it down here.
And I've heard stories about that, like families coming down from other areas for Christmas, and they're passing it on to other families and stuff like that. People, so it's pretty crazy. But vaccines are coming soon, so
currently we ran out of vaccines for Ontario, or Toronto did at least. They used all their vaccines that they got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ontario, or not Ontario, I think Toronto they get an allotment of them, right? Like they're not, yeah. So I think they used up most of theirs. That's a good sign if you got that many people wanting to get a vaccine. But I don't know. We'll see what the dark winter is going to be like. It's just going to be, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I was pretty right a couple episodes ago. I think Joe can put a clip up here. Donald Trump, had to do his little coup. His little coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Normally, in a coup d'etats in other smaller countries, maybe not in the U.S. Maybe it's too high of a thing to do in the U.S. But usually, you get your generals involved. But this time, Donald Trump got his Proud Boys, got his all the other guys on the internet to storm the Capitol.
What was your reaction when you saw the news?
I was not surprised. Definitely not surprised. I'm like, all right, this is it. This is what's happening. Honestly, I've told you, I've been trading a bunch of stocks this last couple of weeks just because I've had nothing to do. It was probably like 1:30. Everything dropped, like 3-4%. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I started reading through like my boards and stuff, like my message boards. Like, these people are going on DC and everything. The whole market's dropped like 2-3%. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I pull up my MSNBC. People are storming the Capitol. People are doing this. Stocks are dropping, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, all-time highs. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, people the market as a whole is taking all this information and just being like, this is kind of what we expected. All right, keep buying stocks.
Keep moving.
Yeah, keep it moving. I don't know. It's crazy, man. But did you guys see anything about this? Like, it's crazy.
I was shocked. Like, opened up my Twitter and I seen it and I'm like, whoa, people are actually storming. And I just thought like it was not a few people, but maybe a few hundred. But that was almost like a stadium. Like I saw it was like he gave a speech. 100,000 people. Trump gave a speech before, right? And that was like almost like maybe not a stadium full, but that was a lot of people. And to think, and then what was even crazier is, I'm looking at the news and I'm checking all of this out, and it's people flying from Cali to join the march, people coming from Virginia. The lady that passed away was from California. I'm like, so these guys, that goes like, these guys were planning this
for time.
These guys were getting ready for this, and they went to DC with intentions of doing this. And when I first saw it, I thought it was just some, again, random people that just stormed Capitol Hill. But no, this is like thousands of people that planned on doing this on January 6th? And
I don't even know what date it is anymore.
And to see something like that again happening in the U.S. is just even more shocking, right? Like we were talking about earlier. Usually, coup d'états, smaller countries, army generals that have enough power to take over the government. But this is probably a failed coup d'état. But
all those, from what I've seen, a lot of those guys have got arrested. Like they found them real quick. Like, I saw the guy holding the podium or whatever. Yep. He's like super happy in one photo, and then they got his mugshot right next to it. Like,
some guy was smoking a joint in the Capitol.
Free up! He didn't do nothing wrong.
That's craziness. One guy was smoking a joint. One guy was in Nancy Pelosi's office.
One guy
legs up. Yeah, like. It definitely boggles my mind how something like that could happen. Like, how do you not have enough security?
They had security, man. I saw videos on the internet the day of police officers like opening up the barricade and be like, "Come on in, open it up." Wow, that's craziness. Like,
I saw someone, like a cop, like helping a lady down the stairs afterwards.
Did you guys see the video? The guy trying to climb the wall.
Nothing happened. Consequences because they're white. So
that's exactly, and that's part of the outrage as well, is because, going back to the summertime, there was, after the George Floyd incident and all of that Breonna Taylor, the BLM protests and all that big movement throughout the summertime was condemned by conservatives. I mean,
the people that went to go storm
the
Senate,
the same
the
people that were running up those stairs
were the ones that are like, what the fuck you doing?
What is BLM? That's a terrorist group. You guys are inciting violence.
Well, they're using each other's playbooks now. Apparently, those weren't Trump supporters. That was Antifa. The same people that burned down everything were the same ones that stormed the Capitol.
The same people that broke into the Gucci store in the summertime weren't BLM protesters. So it's like, it's pretty crazy. It is pretty shocking, though, to see the difference in treatment between the BLM protesters and then these Trump protesters, whatever you want to classify these people as, right? Like, yeah, because the BLM, if you're gonna say the BLM people are terrorists, and what are you putting these guys into? Right. What group are you putting these guys into? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're definitely storming into a government building.
Sure, this is how the Tea Party happened. This is how America was built. A lot of people were pissed, and they just took shit over. But there's a way to do it peacefully, and when you do it peacefully, you make a bunch of fun out of it, and you say that this is just, this is pillaging, and you're burning down stuff just for protest and whatever. And then when your side does it, it's completely fine. We're going to take back our country from the people that stole it from us. You can't have it both ways.
Can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
And sure, the Boston Tea Party is a great story for the U.S., but at the same time, it's like, yes, they were built off that story, but they're also built off, racism and owning slaves and all of that stuff too. And I guess into 2020, 2021, we're seeing all of that stuff that happened 500, how many years ago, which kind of still bubble up to the surface, still not being dealt with properly. You know what I mean? And I was telling people throughout the week when the news hit, like, we're not learning anything new. Sorry. We're not learning anything new. All of this stuff we've been knowing, this is probably one of the biggest, grandest scales that we've seen it on, right? Like, the difference how we treat, white Americans compared to black Americans. Like, that was put on full display, but it wasn't like we didn't know that prior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's just a lot of layers and a lot of context to this whole situation, I guess.
For sure. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very complex. And you could see why a lot of people on the other side are just like, it doesn't make sense. Why would our guy do this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so much craziness where you could literally say, oh, this wasn't our people. This was Antifa getting put in Trump. But I don't know, man. That's just overthinking something.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee if you asked, a lot of the lady that got shot from California identified herself as a Trump supporter. Like, she never said she was anything else other than that. She was in the military, correct?
Yeah, Air Force or Navy?
Air Force, yeah. I believe. I think she knew what she was doing. And unfortunately, that happened. But that also happened when the protest happened too. And when there was a perfect photo when BLM was going on the Senate, they had every single step covered with people with guns, ready to fight or protect or whatever they needed to do. And then when the Trump supporters go and do it, come on in.
Yeah, and then the difference in tone of the messaging too from Donald Trump was, again, just another example. Not that we didn't know this before, but when it was BLM, it was when they start looting, we start shooting. When it was the protesters, is we love you, go home peacefully, and stuff like that. So again, nothing new. It's just a crazy situation though, to see on your timeline, to see people rushing into.
You're not going to see Trump on your timeline anymore, though.
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Because that's where I wanted to take this conversation. Like, so you're not. Twitter just banned him. The stock's going crazy right now.
Twitter stock's going crazy.
Everybody's dumping Twitter right now.
Oh, and so in a bad way, it's going crazy.
People are just pissed at Twitter.
Wow.
Pissed at Facebook, just for banning this guy. Everywhere. Spotify fucking banned him.
Shopify.
Shopify. Bro, I thought we got this down like 4 or 5 episodes ago.
Yeah, Shopify and Pornhub was. When I seen that, I was like, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like, why are you banning them on Shopify?
Spotify.
And Pornhub too, just to put.
Pornhub should have
file-
probably banned his naked ass a long
Like-
time ago. I don't need to see any Trump pornos. I don't need to ever see that.
Like
They're
what?
probably out there. There definitely is Trump pornos.
What
out
is
there
he
in the world.
What is he scrolling through?
You can enjoy it all you want, bro. I'm good.
What is he scrolling through on his phone now?
His network that's gonna get banned off Apple, whatever it's called, Parler.
Parlay,
It's called
Parlor,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. It is officially
Faces,
banned.
like,
Yeah.
gather on Parler and talk.
No,
Because
but we
I mean
talked
that's
about
where
this.
they were meeting
Terrible.
to plan for the Capitol Hill thing
Yeah.
on the Parlor app. So that was officially banned from the Apple Store, and then
Like
I mean,
Google's gonna ban him from
yeah.
the store too. So that's the I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday. If you can't get into Google and you can't get into Apple stores, you're not gonna be able to get on anybody's phones unless you do like you make your own app. You can install APKs on the Google phone, which is
they
like,
do have their own website
Yeah.
or
you can make
website
you can do that,
driven, whatever.
but it's not going to be as accessible for you. You know,
Yeah.
you're not going to have Trump on your Twitter every day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to check a specific app. But we talked about this a couple episodes ago. I think I said Trump was going to start his own network similar to Fox and stuff like that. It's kind of the only way for him to get his message out without getting censored by either media or the news or whatever. Do I disagree with what Trump did? No. Or do I agree with what Trump did? No. But do I disagree with Twitter and Facebook censoring him? I'm a little. It's a very slippery slope, right?
It is exactly.
Like how does Mark Zuckerberg have more power than the president of a country? How does who's the guy that runs Twitter?
You gotta remember that
Jack Dorsey.
Obama
Dorsey.
was the first president to have Twitter.
Yeah.
No, they're all private companies. They can do whatever they want. But we're now giving Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg more power than you give a president that you elect. That's where my kind of issue is, right?
Yeah.
I don't agree with what Trump is saying, but if it's somebody that I agree with what they're saying and they still get banned and censored and stuff like that, you gotta be able to play it on both sides, right? If it's not okay on your side, then it's not okay on the other side either.
So as a business owner, would you say that you're not allowed to?
It's your platform. You can do whatever you want at the end of the day.
Should I not sell to people? Like, should I not sell vintage items to people that I don't mess with? Or
Do you care about a dollar, or do you care about? That's where business has to come and play, right? Like in accounting, the first rule is there's your personal finances and there's your business finances. Don't mix the two.
Yep.
Same with Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy shoes too. He's not going to take a political statement, you know.
Yeah.
Business should be business. Politics should be politics. You know, you shouldn't really mix the two. So if your goal as a content distribution platform, which Facebook and Twitter are, there's definitely much worse things on Twitter and Facebook that have been said by somebody else than what Trump did. Like,
But not on that.
not to, it doesn't get as much reception,
Attention
right?
and
Attention,
reception,
reception, right?
yeah.
But it's a very slippery slope. Like the right to free speech, no matter what you're saying, is a right of people to have. You know, when somebody can censor you, it becomes a problem, right? So I don't agree with what he said, but it's a very, like I'm saying, it's a very slippery slope.
Yeah, because in a way, I do get what you mean, because it's, I'm not going to say it sets a precedent, but again, if they have the power to.
If you can do this to a president, you can do it to anybody.
Yeah.
So you as a small person saying something that, whether just like Jack Ma is probably going to have more money than any of us here in the room. But when he said something against the government, he's been missing for the last 3 weeks. This is kind of the environment you set up. So
I think
it's a slippery slope.
They send a young Mata.
Yeah, they're sending young Ma to the gulag. They're sending Jack to the gulag. But what is this man gonna do? Like,
But what do you think? What do you think? But what do you think? Like, but we know, like, so we know, I guess, a threat that Donald Trump was, I guess you could say, on social media platforms and him voicing his messages. But is that trade-off? Is that a good trade-off though? Like, if you're Jack Dorsey, is that a good trade-off to ban Donald Trump and censor those types of messages and not allowing it to be presented to the whole world, or having that backlash? Do you get what I'm?
It really depends on what Jack wants to do. Does he want to be a business owner?
I say Jack Marge
or Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey. If I did
sorry, this mine's hidden. It depends what Jack Dorsey wants to do. Does he want to run a business, or does he want to pick sides? And that's where it comes to. This decision, the decision he's made now, he's going to have to do again in the future. Because once you set the precedent of, okay, he said enough bad things or he's incited violence, we've got to shut down or suspend Twitter, right? You're going to have to do this every other time. Because if you do this to a president, as soon as somebody else does even a small scale version of this, you're going to have to find it. You're going to have to set your AI algorithms to strictly look for this kind of stuff and ban it. And as soon as, because you know how algorithms work, they're not reading exactly what they're saying, but if it mentions one word or if it's got a phrase in there, then it's going to automatically ban. The slope is...
It gets tricky.
Yeah, it gets tricky, right? So, I don't know. I think it's not going to bode well, especially in the short term, for a couple of these businesses, because no matter what your political statement is, a lot of people agree that free speech is important, and once they see that a lot of these 2-3 people that are in charge of these companies have all these powers, then if it could happen to a president, it could happen to you as well.
And I mean, especially just in the day and age that we're in as well, where the government's fighting these tech companies because they think that they've gone too big. And these same tech companies are removing the most powerful man you could say on the planet from their services and stuff like that. So yeah, there's I was on Twitter the whole week with everything that's been happening and seeing, different people's point of views. It's definitely interesting. And like you said, it gets tricky. It sets the precedent. It's pretty tough to kind of start judging everything and all the stuff that you have on social medias now. But at the same time, I feel like it was needed. But at the same time, it's like he's been talking like this for 4 years. So
like you said, this is nothing new.
It's nothing new, and you guys just did it now. It would have been different. Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it,
would have been different if they did this a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. But
you could have did this when you were calling Obama he's saying he's from Nigeria or whatever. He's not even American. You should have done it because that's how this whole thing got started.
Talking shit with Hillary. But 2 weeks before he's supposed to get out of office, it's it's not too little too late. I know where this decision might come from, but at the same time,
they're probably at a point where fuck it, there's nothing we could do. They just won Georgia. There's no way they can.
Exactly.
They can.
Biden
is going to be 100% the president. So I think it. Yeah, I think it took until Georgia for the blue way, the complete blue sweep, to convince every single person that Donald Trump is no longer the president.
And convinced his army to run up the Capitol Hill stairs and go crazy.
This man's got supporters.
No doubt. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if he does a Trump network and is able to keep this rhetoric and message going on for the next.
Because I was talking to my roommate yesterday. I'm like, what do you think next? Because remember I said Trump can run again in 4 years. But if they impeach him, he can't run again, right? So I'm like, all right, so if Trump can't run, what would you do if you were Trump and you still wanted to be quasi-president? I would put my daughter in there. Ivanka. Not a lot of people like her, but if you can give her if Trump can give her all his voters,
the playbook,
just be like, I endorse my daughter. I want her to be the first woman president of.
Or any you could. Do you think he could find any? If it's not his daughter, do you think he could find some?
I don't think it's gonna be his son. I think his son's a fucking idiot.
Or outside the family.
Yeah, but I think Ivanka. I don't think she'd be a great president regardless. I just
in 2024, but I think eventually
at some point we'll see. We'll see another Trump or Kushner run for president at some point.
What's his son's the little one, the littlest one?
Barron.
He's just playing Minecraft. Leave him alone. He doesn't care. He doesn't.
Barron's not about that life. He doesn't care. Barron's never going to be president.
Oh man.
Barron's gonna be like that third generation that just spends all your cash. You know,
Spends all the cash.
Yeah.
He's at the BLM protest.
Yeah. His grandfather, what are you doing there, Barron? Dad, yeah.
Do you think he gets impeached though, or is this like?
I think it's a lot of. I think it's a lot of work to do for 2 weeks.
What's the prediction on that?
I don't know if it's gonna happen.
It's tight. It's a tight deadline.
I think it's
10 days. 10 days right now.
Yeah.
When we're recording this.
They tried so hard. They tried.
Yeah.
They got him impeached already. Like, so I think it's gonna. And that took a long time. I think it'll take much more than 10 days to impeach him again.
But this is
So you can only.
this is legit. He like incited an act of terrorism, pretty much. Like, and that's why this is all happening.
All these senators are, vocally, voicing their opinion and saying he should be removed from his position. Mike Pence, did he say anything officially in that regards, or just not yet? Or
he's not. He's waiting to see if he gets worse at all. I think is the last thing I read. Is Mike Pence is waiting to see if he becomes more unstable.
Yeah.
He's already unstable. I think we can all agree on that. Like,
Yeah.
so Mike Pence is waiting to see if he becomes even more unstable. Then he'll do it. I think is what I read last. But
Yeah.
I think Mike Pence are not on good terms right now.
no, he's not on good terms with a lot of people right now, for sure.
Mike Pence was in the Capitol building.
Yeah.
And everyone knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike Pence was in there?
One of the last things
I didn't know that
was tweeted before all that happened from Donald Trump was that he was not on good terms with Mike Pence. He's like, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what needed to be done or something. Is one of his tweets.
Jeez.
And then
Maybe that takes away my theory away.
Within the hour, and Mike Pence was in the Capitol building, and there was pipe bombs found, zip ties found. It wasn't a peaceful protest.
No peaceful. Come on.
That was not a protest, man.
Yeah, I was shocked.
That was a
bombs
takeover.
And yeah. Wow.
5 people died.
And I feel like even that's been brushed over though. Like with the news of everything going on, like sure, these guys might have been terrorists or Trump supporters, but these are or police officers as well. Or what exactly? At the end of the day, that's 5 people that passed away over something that was preventable, something that shouldn't have happened. And compared to what was happening again to the BLM movement, it's like whenever someone died when they were protesting in the summertime, it was maybe not blown out of proportion, but it was, oh, look at what these guys are doing. They're not protesting the right way. They're breaking into stores, they're doing this and that. But when 5 people pass away, and I feel like people just kind of sweep it under the rug just because it's like, it's white people being terrorists or whatever. Again, whatever you want to categorize these people as, it's like the story and the scenario and the script that's written is completely different. So
we've seen the biggest divide in America that we've probably seen. Like 50% of the country is one way and 50% the other way.
You think we've hit the climax?
It's gonna get worse. It's totally gonna get worse. I had 2 predictions. After you said what you said about Pence, maybe my one prediction of Pence becoming the president for a week.
I don't know if your rebrand is 46.
Yeah, 47.
Number change.
Pence comes in for a week, pardons up Trump. That was one of my predictions. But another prediction.
I don't know if you can though.
As a president, you can pardon whoever you want for whatever you want. But my other prediction was, I don't know. We're very, very close to the 1-year death of Soleimani, that Iranian number 2 guy. The general, yeah, the number 2 guy that passed away last year. Iranian people are very proud people. I think they see this as a little bit of weakness going on in the States, and kind of looks like a good time to attack. I don't see them letting that go, especially because 6 months later they killed their number 1 nuclear scientist and everything like that. I think they're going to be looking for some sort of revenge. So I don't know. Before the 20th, we might see something happen in the States. Those are my 2 projections, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
I hope neither of them happen. Well,
hopefully.
If Pence happens and pardons Trump, that's going to be the least of our worries. But I do not want to see another like 9/11 or something like that happen in the States again.
100%. When it comes to people's lives and stuff like that, I think that's definitely way too tragic to wish that upon anyone. But hopefully Big Trump gets his I'm not saying hopefully. I hope he gets what he deserves, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I hope big media doesn't become bigger. We probably will, but these are
smaller is the bad way.
well, I don't know.
The smaller big media gets is the worse it gets. That means less
Yeah.
companies own
Yeah.
more things.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos can buy up more posts. He already owns the Washington Post. He could buy something else, buy a TV channel, buy this and that. And there you go. Your new leaders are going to be Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk is already the richest guy in the world.
We can keep this conversation going because I want to ask you how, because you were talking earlier how you had to separate personal from business and politics from business, but how do you do that in 2020 or 2021? How do you do that? Because again, this year has been the year of social unrest and this and that all over the world. It's not just in the U.S. It's happening everywhere. But like, how do you separate business from what's going on outside? I don't think you can. And I feel like
the good businesses do.
But I feel like in 2020 and in the
do you see Apple talking about this shit? Do you see Amazon talking about this shit? Do you see the big companies talking? No, they keep their head down and focus on their business. Apple doesn't talk about.
Well, Amazon banned them, right?
Amazon banned who?
I swear they banned Trump.
On what?
Oh, for what? To not sell products?
All right, maybe Twitter's serving me some wrong information, but
But Apple doesn't talk about politics. Apple's got whole factories of Uyghur Muslims working for them. You think they're talking about that kind of stuff? No, that's just part of business. Like, if it doesn't benefit them dollar-wise, they're not going to talk about it. That's how you differentiate business and politics. You talk about politics whenever it benefits the bottom line, but
yeah, you could say that because I feel like the businesses that I have seen, called all of this out, I feel like they had that type of social and political initiatives already. Like I seen Ben and Jerry's post on their social media accounts that obviously they weren't supporting what happened in Capitol Hill. Same with Patagonia. Was saying again they weren't supporting that, and they're known as two businesses that have been about social justice, environmental justice, and stuff like that. That's part of
their claim to fame, right?
Yeah, that's part of their claim to fame. And I mean, compared to Apple or Amazon, they do that a lot more.
That's how they get their followers. Patagonia, who wears Patagonia? Tell me right now. Who
Wall Street guys, man.
Wall Street guys? Who else? California guys?
Silicon Valley guys. Silicon Valley, those guys, the environmentalists. For sure. I mean, it works, right? Like,
who wears a $600 zip up, like a little vest? People that can afford
it. It definitely works, but
I'm telling you, the companies that know how to make money know how to keep their head out of politics. They figured it out.
This type of politics or all politics in general? Because
if it doesn't benefit them, they're not going to talk about it.
I mean,
why would you open your mouth about something like that? Like, look at the NBA.
Unless they get found out for that, right? Because when Nike was put on blast for their sweatshops and stuff like that, they're like, all right, let's fix this situation and make this a bit better and use this as an opportunity to let the world know that, all right, we messed up, we'll do better.
Yeah, but if they change anything though? Don't they still use those shops?
Yes, but I mean, the wages increases, conditions are better. But I guess in a way, if you're not calling these people out, then on their bullshit, then they're not gonna change anything.
Yeah. Sam, or the guy that started Walmart, said it best. The number one boss is the customer. If the customer stops spending money with you, they're the ones that make decisions. Like, your dollars are what affects change.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see a business profitable anymore, stop giving them your money. That's literally what happened with Twitter and Facebook. As soon as they banned Trump, they lost at least 20-30% of their customers. I was looking on this Twitter feed for the stock. Everybody's like, I'm canceling my Twitter. I'm canceling this. I'm doing that. I'm canceling Facebook. Blah, 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 blah. Just because they banned Trump. Not a good business decision. Maybe a good social and a good You really poured those evenly, Joe.
No, we gotta let the.
Joe's good. He's good on the vino, bro.
Joe
Yeah, Joe doesn't need no more vino.
poured the fattest glasses of 2021 already. We're drinking for Drip God today.
It's a rosé now.
That's how we do it at the bottom line.
Yep. The bottom line at this point.
Yeah, man. What type of wine is this?
This is a late autumn Riesling. It's from Niagara.
Okay.
This that meme that's like, this gets free real estate in my head all the time or whatever. Yeah, this gets free real estate in my fridge every single time I go to the store. I grab at least one or two of these bottles. I just love it. A Riesling's one of my favorite white wines.
Bottom line rosé mix.
Yep.
Brought to you by Joe and Lowen.
R.I.P. Drip God.
Drinking for Drip God today. Where were we at though?
No, so
yeah, business and politics.
What were we talking about? Fucking
Sam Walton, Walmart.
Yeah, Sam Walton. Yeah, said that the number one customer or the number one boss is the customer. So if you want to stop supporting a company, stop spending your money with them. Stop giving them your attention, which is how we talked about on the Social Dilemma podcast.
Yeah,
a lot of these bigger companies get paid with your attention. Don't use their app anymore if you don't want to support Facebook. Don't buy their shares. Don't do stuff like that. So you'll see it happening. The customer, the person who spends their money, their attention, are the ones that are going to make changes in your company. You're talking about Patagonia. The reason a lot of people buy Patagonia is because they share the same mindset, right? So you're building your story with those customers, and they're not going to switch on you because you guys are the same mentality, But as soon as you go from we don't have a political agenda to having a political agenda, that's when you're going to start losing customers, because there's going to be some people, especially like we were talking, the U.S. is very divided right now. 50% is one side, 50% is on the other. Once you make a decision politically, you might lose half of your customers.
Yeah. And, and I can speak to this as a small business owner myself and going through this year, and probably also other business owners as well. It's, I guess for some people, it's what's the expression? It's, you live and die by that sword of social justice and saying.
It's a double-sided sword.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me as a small business owner, as a minority, I'm going to speak up for stuff that I feel is unjust towards minorities and people in that grouping or category every time, personally and as a business with, 3 other guys that are also minorities as well. And that's different for another vintage store that might have, or just any other business that's, a white male owner that doesn't feel the need to sacrifice business for doing the right thing. Or
for morality.
For morale. Exactly. Yeah. That's a good word. So yeah, I mean, again, there's not a right answer, right?
No, it's all
however
about balance,
you
man.
want to run your business. Yeah. And I'm fine losing those 5 people that got offended by my message of Black Lives Matter, and the front of the store or on the Instagram. Yeah. Sure, I don't want your dollars. Yep. For some businesses, it's different, and so they don't really care about that stuff, or the dollar is just way too valuable for them to ever dive into that social justice and realm and whatnot. So
it all comes down to what, just like you said, what your priorities are, right?
Yeah.
You could have a business that is enough to sustain you and live your life, and that's all that's important to you, Or you could have a business where you're trying to make growth every year, and in those kind of businesses, you can't eliminate half of your customer base by a political statement.
You got to be careful with how you move and make sure every move is kind of calculated. So
I don't know. It's all about balance, right? There's going to be some people that don't agree. There's going to be people that agree.
It's all about different subject areas too, right? Exactly. Like it's, they might speak up on this and they might not speak up on that. This it really depends on who's running those businesses. I personally
am not a conservative or a liberal because we're in Canada. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see the shitty side that both sides do. I don't like the Karens on the left side that literally complain about everything.
Yep.
And I don't like the super aggressive authoritarian.
What do you call it? What are they?
do what I say or else it's the highway, like on the other side.
Yeah.
Both have their problems. I don't think government should be in your personal business like a Republican or a conservative does, but I also think government should be there to support the needs of the people. If there needs to be a new road built, the government should build it, because as a single person, you are not going to build it. And if you do decide to build it, you are going to put a toll on it and privatize it.
Yep.
So if it's going to be something that we're all going to use, I'd rather the government just pay for it, take a little bit of money out of my taxes, and make our place that we all share a little bit better. But I don't want you in my fucking life about what I do with my body, what I do with this, that, what I consume, what I do with anything.
Yeah.
And then I also don't I don't believe in giving a participation medal to every single person that does something, I'm kind of in the center, like take the good with the bad, see the good on both sides, and kind of make up my own opinion. And if a lot of people stop being so tribal and start making their own opinions, maybe the world would be a little bit better place. Because at the end of the day, there's not much differentiation between the two people. There's like 5 or 10% differentiation. Most of the stuff most people can agree on. You want to see your family do well. You want to have a nice place to live. You want food on the table. Life is not as complicated as people make it out to be. But you're taking those 5-10% differences between people and extrapolating it to huge amounts, when if you focused on the 90% that we're all similar, everybody would be able to get along much better.
Facts.
Yeah. So
Facts.
They did a really good job of dividing people in the last 4 years. It was not like that in the last
masterclass from the man's up.
Yeah. From the from the fascists, they got a masterclass in the last 4 years on that.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. So, what'd you hear about Louis Vuitton?
So, I heard Louis Vuitton's been making some big purchases,
some big moves,
this big Christmas buys. So, recently it was announced that LVMH,
Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy,
interesting.
Yep.
Bought Tiffany Co.
Yep.
Which is it's another big move, I guess.
It's another luxury brand.
Luxury brand that's making big mergers and acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks ago, we talked about Supreme buying Supreme being bought out by another
Timberland. Was it Timberland? Vans?
The VF Corp. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Being bought out by the VF Corp. And we also talked about another few episodes ago was fashion retailers getting into the secondhand market, buying businesses and doing partnerships with the Real and stuff like that. So, I guess that's been a little trend on the show for a few weeks.
Yep.
Let's talk more about this Tiffany Co deal.
Yeah, for sure. This is how business should be running. When there's bad times, the companies that are doing poorly get bought out by the companies that are doing better. LVMH is very well diversified. Louis Vuitton, one does a lot of clothes, but Moet and Hennessy's got their car brand. Like, you've seen the
car brand.
Have you not seen those Hennessy cars and stuff like that?
No.
Okay, well, regardless, they're very well diversified. Like, if you've seen the Nas and the Nas commercials that he does for Hennessy, like always push forward. Like, there's a Manny Pacquiao one. Hennessy, I think the guy who started Hennessy was an original race car driver. I think he hit the speed limit. Like, Hennessy takes cars and like soups them up. Like, they have like
so we're Hennessy the drink.
The drink.
Interesting. I honestly didn't know.
Yeah. So they like to push the limits. You know how Red Bull's got like they're into like extreme sports and stuff like that. Hennessy's also got they're not just an alcohol company.
Okay.
Like they've diversified into other areas as well. Moet, same. They were a champagne company, are into other different things too. But now I think Tiffany adds that extra little appeal. Like Louis Vuitton, both guys and girls like Louis Vuitton. Tiffany, are you familiar with Tiffany?
Not too much.
They're the diamond store, right?
pretty like
Yeah.
Tiffany's a
Yeah.
diamond store.
So yeah, exactly. So I know they've got the turquoise boxes. I know that's what their kind of staple
Known
is.
for?
But it fits their brand perfectly. Diamonds, expensive alcohols,
Yeah.
expensive clothes. Perfect acquisition for this company, right? And that's how business should be working. When it's like I said, when it's a downtime, you can find those companies that are struggling, and if you're doing well, you buy those companies and add them to your portfolio, add them to your brand, you know.
Yep.
And it's a perfect addition. So I think it's just going to make them even more competitive. I think Louis Vuitton, or the owner at least, is like one of the top 10 or 12 richest people in the world.
Yeah, something Arnaud,
Arnaud,
Frenchman.
Yeah, some Frenchman. Yeah, I think he owns a couple soccer teams too.
Yeah,
He's doing well.
He's he the founder, or did he own it, or does he just own it?
I think he's the founder of Louis Vuitton, and then they've bought like Moet and Hennessy as well throughout the time.
Okay. Interesting.
But no, you'll see a lot of these companies. That's how it works. Like Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway. That's how he's built his business up. When times are good, you buy companies that are doing poorly. You add them to your portfolio. You get their benefit.
Yeah, that's the smartest move that you can even. Because I mean, you've been trading stocks. You've been buying stocks for a while now. That's the same strategy you got to use on a personal level too. If you're like one of those, I always see it on like those stock pages. Like the stock market is the only place where people don't buy when it's on sale and rush to buy when it's at a premium.
Bitcoin at its finest right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Bitcoin 9 months ago, what was it, $3,000 to $6,000? Nobody gave a fuck about it.
Yeah, like
now it's hitting 40,000. People are lining up at the door to buy it.
Yeah, so it's like you just gotta switch up the way that you think, right? Like just how you go to the store when you see that your favorite pair of shoes is on sale for 50% off, you go and buy it. You have to go out and buy assets and businesses, real estate, whatever it is. It could be real estate, businesses, stocks when they're on sale too. People don't. Why don't you think people think that way? I guess I don't know. It's weird because it's literally like
it's once you break it down, it's so simple, But some people maybe think it's too simple. Like I've been into stocks since I was like in my grade 9 or 10 history class. My teacher started it off with like the 20s were so crazy because people did so well in the stock market.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean about the stock? What's the stock market? I've heard about stocks. Oh, stocks is when people bought something, like they own a portion of the company, and then the company went up in value. They made a bunch of money. So I'm like, you can make money by doing nothing, and then that's what got the wheels turning. And that was right up my alley. I could sit at home and make cash. What? Tell me more about this. Then I started learning about dividends and just being an owner of the company, you get paid. And once you start making more sense of it, once you start being a business owner, once you've paid dividends out, once you actually understand how it works, it's a big puzzle that you're always putting little pieces in.
And the language is just much more familiar.
Yeah. Like, I know what a P&L statement is. I know what a profit and loss statement is. I know what a
balance sheet is.
I know what a balance sheet. I know what to look for in a balance sheet.
Exactly.
I know what a quick ratio is. I know those kind of things that would have never made sense to me 5-10 years ago are just part of my dialect at this point, right? And that's exactly what you have to do. People that bought any asset in March when the whole dip started are up like 300% on their money. And that is how the rich get richer. Like, because they buy assets.
Pretty sure Jeff Bezos or Amazon bought. Let me search up the news real quick. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna find.
Speaking of Jeff Bezos, though, since you brought him up, he's no longer the richest man in the world.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Amazon buys Wondery as the podcasting race continues.
Yep.
The deal, valued at $300 million, is the latest in a string of acquisitions as streaming platforms expand beyond music and video.
Yeah. And Audible started putting up podcasts on their thing, on their stream, on their app, I think. Everybody's trying to get into these podcast games. like Spotify after their acquisition of Joe Rogan and the Bill Simmons network, the Ringer. Everybody was kind of like put in a position where they had to act, right? Are you either gonna let Spotify run all this podcasting, or
that Joe Rogan deal was huge, huge, and that definitely set the
precedent.
Everyone was down to kind of race to the top in a way, right? Because Amazon's in it. Apparently, Netflix is trying to produce some sort of. I heard this news on the Joe Budden podcast, but apparently Netflix is trying to get into possibly the podcasting game in terms of providing people video content.
Okay.
But they're trying to, or just audio content in general. So I didn't read up too much on the whole story, but that would be huge. And even Spotify is trying to get into video content. So you're seeing all these big like media players and businesses kind of positioning themselves for that surge in demand for podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, like podcasting isn't like a brand new frontier, you know? Like podcasting has been around for 10, 20 years, you know? Like it was it started off as a broadcast that people, I don't even know how the name came up as podcast, but like whatever, something happened. It's not a new frontier for these businesses, you know? And that's usually how it goes. Like these big companies don't get into it in the first 5 years. They'll wait a little bit, let it build up a bit. Apple's a perfect example of this. They're not getting into every new trend right away. But as soon as one of the big players gets in, it's a war. Like it's a rush to it, you know?
Yeah.
Where we're not just going to let you have 100% market cap.
Apple maybe was the first one.
Yeah. Apple Podcasts had
Podcasts were named podcasts because Apple named them podcasts, I'm pretty sure.
Oh shit.
Like I remember my iPod Touch, like
iPod,
like my iPod Touch second generation, like had a podcasting, and I just deleted that app every time. I'm like, what the fuck do I need this for? Never gonna listen to this shit.
Now he's making one. That's crazy.
Hey, JP Morgan 2 years ago said Bitcoin was useless, and now they're putting their estimation at 140,000. So you know, people take some L's here and there. People can change their opinion, you know.
100%.
But yeah, podcasts, like everybody's trying to get into it now.
I feel like I mean, just going back on the general topic that we're having, like, you know, big businesses buying small businesses. I feel like and going back to the podcast conversation, that's a general trend, right? These big businesses have so much cash,
but they don't have the expertise to get it. Start a brand new project.
Exactly.
So you buy something that's already working.
And they have the people working on it constantly, building it up. You don't have to worry about it. Just, you know, shell out that $300 million, and you got all of a sudden you got a brand new division.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazon podcast division, whatever you want to call it, that's working on that next big project that's gonna hopefully help you generate much more in revenue and stuff like that. So
and this is a perfect transition to our next topic too. Like I was just saying, podcasts aren't a new frontier. They've been around for so long, but a new frontier just opened up. There's new laws like that just got put in place, I think, a couple of days ago. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. So,
yo, my bad.
Sounds super boring.
I have to go to the bathroom.
All right, pause this one. Just fine.
Yeah, the viewers definitely thought we were drinking like 3 glasses of wine.
Turn. So yeah, before we had to pause, we were talking about how a new frontier just kind of opened up. There's new laws that just got put in place in the U.S. Their aviation administration just passed a new rule that drones are going to be able to deliver packages to your front door now.
Interesting.
What do you think about that?
I'm down. Like, you don't even see the delivery man, so it's like I'm down for a drone to just drop it off on my porch and yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and you could get them. I feel like you could get them at any time of day.
Yep.
Maybe not any type of weather. I don't know how good drones are, but like if I order,
you probably get it same day.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like you get it quicker for sure. Maybe not based on how like the weather is, maybe not, but I think that's dope. I'd be down. Like, again, I do not see the delivery man. Like, there's no interaction there. Yeah. So it could be anyone dropping off my package. I really do not care.
Yeah. No, so whenever I see stuff like this, I always ask myself 2 questions. One, kind of who benefits from this? Like, why is this new rule put in place? And 2, like, selfishly, how do I make money on this? Like, okay, this is a new rule. Right now in Canada, it's not a thing yet, but because we're so close to the States and we follow a lot of their patterns, we're probably going to get a rule like this too. Our aviation is going to make one of these rules too, where drones can start dropping packages off. And especially with COVID now, they're probably going to use any excuse to limit the amount of any potential person-to-person connection.
100%. That makes a lot of sense these days, for sure.
So I definitely see it happening. And I think some of the biggest people that would make money out of this, you've either got makers, sellers, and businesses that use it. I think in this situation, the sellers aren't going to make much money on it because I think it's going to be just a lot of like brand deals. We're going to make contracts with you. We'll buy 300,000 drones every year for the next couple of years. You know, I think it'll be like one manufacturer. So I think it'll be like the manufacturers that make money on this and then the businesses that kind of use it. So what are you laughing about over there?
Bro, I'm looking at on Amazon.com, bro. Amazon Prime Air.
Air?
Amazon Prime Air, it's called. Here's what the website says. A future delivery system from Amazon designed to safely get packages to customers in 30 minutes or less, bro.
30 minutes or less.
Fuck me! What the fuck?
Welcome to the new world, bro.
Wow.
So, perfect, Joe. Wow. You literally hit it right on the
30
head.
30 minutes.
So,
that's a crazy standard.
And there's a video that shows what bringing one in 13 minutes, bro. From
wow.
Click to door, bro. That's what
click to door?
That's what it says, bro. On the official
But how
website.
do you... That's interesting because now it's like... Because we were talking about like those big Sears stores becoming distribution centers.
Every city's got one.
But what if these like, I get they could still be used, but what if these drones could deliver 80-70% of all these packages in 13-30 minutes or less? Like, I don't even have to drive
Think
anymore.
of the Sears store here in Windsor, where it is on Howard.
Yeah.
It's pretty much very central to our city. Like, if you don't go into Tecumseh, that Sears store can pretty much get all of Windsor, you know?
Yeah.
You've got down south, you can make it north, you can go east and west. It's kind of like a good central spot.
Yeah.
Imagine having 1,000 drones just popping up every 5-15 minutes. Because you can do the speed these drones go, they can get to your house in 5 minutes in Windsor. Windsor's not huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Windsor's not, it's you've got, here's your latitude that you can fly, just like with planes. Like or the altitude, not latitude. Here's the altitude you can fly with these drones. Nobody else is going to get in your airspace. And there's just going to be thousands of these drones growing every day.
That is insane. And and what type of standard does that make for like your Uber Eats, your the food that you want delivered at your crib, the groceries? How quick are you gonna get those now? If you're getting like,
I'm tired of my food delivery guys.
Printer from Amazon delivered in 13 minutes. Like,
even just my food, I can get my food warm to my house because like right now with my GitHub drivers, or I don't even use Skip the Dishes, but whenever I do, my food's always cold when it gets to my house. Like, there's not even a point in ordering food because it's just my fries come out cold. Like, and you know how McDonald's fries are.
Yeah.
If they're cold, they're useless. So you got to throw them out. My burgers are useless. Like, I don't even order Skip the Dishes. I think I've ordered it once, been so disappointed where I'm like, I'm just picking up every order at this point.
Yeah.
I'll go use the Skip the Dishes app and make it for local pickup. Like, I have a couple of buddies that are Skip the Dishes drivers. Not meaning to call any of you guys out, but you've told me how the game's played. You guys sit there and you get paid by the amount of time you guys wait. So a lot of these guys will pick up your order and kind of just sit in a parking spot and just wait just so they can collect a little bit more cash. Not knocking your hustle. Respect it. Get every dollar you can.
100%.
Get my food to me on time.
Yeah, there's 2 parts of the transaction.
And don't eat my fries.
Do you think there's a thing as too much convenience though, and like again going back to this day and age?
No, that's what businesses are for. Businesses are there to solve issues, or make issues become less of an issue, right? So if you can reduce the delivery time from 20 minutes to 10 minutes, you're going to get a lot of investment into that idea, right? And if you could take that 10 minutes down to 5 minutes, you'll get a lot of investment to that idea. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to make your problems as small as possible.
Yeah, save people time and stuff like that.
Like as a business, you're there to alleviate problems, and you charge a rate to alleviate those problems. So innovating in delivering products to your house, shipping is going to be one of the biggest industries in the next couple of years, because people are just going to get used to not leaving their house.
Yeah.
The way VR is going, like people are just going to have their VR headsets, going to be able to plug in. I told you about my idea for VR. I'm not going to say it on here just in case when you guys steal it. But it's gonna come to a point where you no longer need to leave your house. Like you literally just go put on your headset. You're like, here's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Here's what I need to get, and just order it all to your house. It'll be there the same day. It's a great environment for consumers. But that means there's going to be 3 or 4 places we go to shop from. You know.
Yep.
Because once you build that infrastructure, you're going to have it, and it's going to be so expensive for other companies to get into it, right? Which is why Tesla, I said Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world right now. Tesla has an upper advantage for anybody trying to get into the electronic vehicle market, not because of the batteries or the cars. Probably those can be improved, but they've got the whole infrastructure set up.
They put in the time and
they put in the charge stations all across the states.
Yep.
You can take a Tesla from California to New York. You're not going to run out of power. I don't see GM being able to say that. You know, I don't see Volvo being able to say that.
Yeah.
So, even though Tesla hasn't returned $1 of revenue for any of its investors, and it's more of a hype stock, and a lot of people have transferred their wealth over to Elon Musk, I see why there's a lot of hype behind it. You know, they've got a lot of things, a lot of competitive advantages that make them better than other car companies. Do I think they're worth more than every single other car company put together in the world? No.
Is that true?
Oh, Tesla's worth more than Toyota, GM, Ford.
Wow.
Every single car company put together, Tesla's worth more.
Wow. That is insane.
Yeah.
Shouts out Elon Musk. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Their market cap is worth more than every single one of them put together.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's some winners for this deal, right?
Yep.
Jones delivering our packages to our cribs in 13 minutes.
Joe hit it right on the head. I think Amazon is going to be the biggest winner out of this.
Yeah.
What we were talking about when I first brought this topic up, there's definitely companies that are funding these new rules changes, right? They're the ones that are going to benefit the most. They're the ones that paid their lobbyists to go into the Senate and get something like this voted on. And I think Amazon has those lobbyists in many different countries. If this is a way they want to proceed with shipping, I think they've got all their lobbyists in Canada, Australia, England, everywhere. They've got their people to make one of these rules in the next couple of years. And I think this is going to be a new industry for them. We talked about Flex. Joe brought up Amazon Air. They've already got their system set up. I think a lot of people that are going to have issues with this are going to be UPS, FedEx, DHL, those kind of guys that they make their bread and butter on doing daily deliveries.
Yep.
I think that a lot of that market share is going to get taken away from them.
If you're the CEO of DHL or let's say UPS, and you hear this news, what's going through your head? What's your plan of action? If you're the CEO of one of these businesses.
I'm calling Amazon and I'm asking them, how do you guys want to proceed? What's your 5 years looking like? Like, I don't want to be a competition to you. I don't want to get stepped on.
Yeah.
What can I do to maybe work with you guys? You know, if you guys want to do all the drone delivery, I'll focus all of my efforts on delivering bigger packages or something like that. Because you're not going to be able to compete with Amazon. Do you want to keep some market share? Build a partnership with Amazon, you know, or join up, all three of you, just the same way we were talking about a couple other episodes. All these Shopify, Facebook, all these other companies are teaming up against Amazon. You're either going to have UPS, FedEx, DHL, all kind of mixed into one.
Work with Walmart and
work with Walmart and these other big competitors, and that's how they make their bread. Yeah. Or they're going to team up with Amazon, and it's going to be one of those three plus Amazon shipping, and that's kind of going to be it. You know.
It's interesting, man.
It's a bright future, but it is a very monopolistic future.
Yeah.
I think there'll be 3-4 competitors, and that's about it.
Word. And I mean, going back to the conversation that we had earlier at the start of the podcast when we were talking about Donald Trump and him being censored and banned from these apps, we're saying, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, they have more power than these guys. It relates right back into this conversation that we're having. You know, how powerful someone like Jeff Bezos is if Amazon is so dominant like this, right? Like, again, it's always crazy to think about that. These guys, Jeff was just selling books on Amazon,
and now he sells whatever the fuck he wants.
Now he sells whatever he wants when he wants, and we'll get it to you in less than 30 minutes. Like,
or
it's
13.
insane. 13, yeah. It's really, really crazy. So, I mean, it all intermingles. It all kind of connects together. Government and business, you know what I'm saying? Like, power struggles, this and that.
Power vacuums,
everything. Like, it all intermingles. I mean, at the end of the day, as consumers, we're just kind of here to see what happens, right? Like, we're definitely gonna enjoy the quick deliveries.
Man, 2-day shipping blew my mind. Imagine what 30-minute shipping is gonna do to me.
Exactly.
You're gonna have no choice except for buy everything from Amazon.
And buy constantly, because you just know you're gonna get in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not going to Costco to buy toilet paper. No.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna order and have a drone drop it off.
Yeah. Even if it takes you more time to get to that store, like if I live in fucking Essex and it takes me more time to get to Costco or whatever it is to get that product, or it takes more time for the drone to get to my house. I don't know if I'm saying this right.
No, but you're willing because you don't have to do shit. You just wait.
You just wait. I'm willing to wait more time at my house than leave my house and get in less time. So, shouts out. I mean, I don't know.
Shout outs to innovation. Shout outs to lobbyists. Shout outs to making new rules.
I was going to say Jeff Bezos, but I'm going to say the innovation. I think that's the best thing. So, cheers to innovation.
Yeah. you going to have some of that wine? You had half the bottle in there.
Yeah, this it's in nice today, for sure. But with that being said, it's another episode on the Bottom Line Podcast where we learn, grow, and connect with you, our viewers. We appreciate you guys for tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you enjoy your podcast. Thank you for just enjoying this time with us, spending your week, day with us here at the Bottom Line. Today we talked about a bit of low end and the shutdown and what we've been up to just in general. Past few weeks we took a little holiday break, and then we jumped into the trends for the business year. A lot of
we
mergers.
also talked about the drama in the States too.
Oh,
you forgot about that whole 30-minute portion of this.
That was a big part of the conversation. Yeah, man. Trump and his supporters, and then but again, just going back to that conversation, that encompassed so much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Business, government,
it really intertwined
tech,
with a lot of the stuff.
The stuff, social justice. So you gotta watch this episode if you really want to get the gist of what we were talking about. But yeah, and then we talked about mergers and acquisitions with LVMH buying out Tiffany Co., and then also Amazon exploring their frontiers and trying to get us packages in less than 30 minutes. So we'll see if Jeff Bezos can do that for us. I think that'd be pretty cool. But with that being said, again, thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Anchor. Shouts out to Anchor, our sponsors as well. With that being said, take care.